secrets flow. We got the tips, yo, strategies to share. Learn the way to market, put your business up there. Tune in every day, digital marketing, yeah, we know the way. Come learn, it's slay.
All right, happy Monday. We're back. Digital Marketing NetWurk. Jennifer J. Mickey Black. We're here talking about segmentation today. So CRM, and I guess you can do it a number of different ways. Like you can segment. I actually did a project where you're segmenting the variant of the front page of a website that people see. So some people see one version, other people see another version based on a cookie. So I guess there's a number of different ways you can do it, but we're talking about segmentation today, crafting those messages, making sure they're personal, making sure they're delivered at the right time to the right person, and how to use segmentation in your marketing mix. So Jennifer J., I know this is a big thing in your world. I know you've got a couple of campaigns in the market and you're doing a lot with segmentation. What are some things that are, what would you say are your top, like, couple of things to keep in mind?
Keep it simple. Make one adjustment and give it enough time to test. I think that's the most, like, if we're segmenting and we're segmenting using, let's just talk about using wow, I could see the word and can't even get it out. If we're using split testing, right? So you mentioned the different pages, you know, somebody one page and then this group sees another. So of course you do that with software. You set it up, but you only change one thing because you're testing one thing. You're testing to see, okay, does this resonate? All right, that resonates. Now let's test the other thing. So even if usually it's the headline, right? The headline is what usually gets people to open or look at a page or continue. So you usually test your headlines first. Once you find a good one, then you say, okay, what else is it that you're going to test? Are they not clicking? Are they not, taking the action? So now you look at the language and you just change one thing. If you think it's the picture, you change just the picture and then you match that up against the opposite of it, right? To see which one works. So we're always testing one thing at a time, not we're going to make all these changes because then you don't know
what worked and what didn't. I like that because that's something you don't always keep in mind, but can be so key to making sure you're learning what you need to be learning. Because a lot of times, if you've got multiple things going on, you don't always know what's successful. If you've got a different headline, a different picture, a different offer, all those different things, you don't know the thing that made the difference. So I like that point of always just testing one thing. And speaking of one thing, the one of these things that I learned specifically, I was in Go High Level and just happened to come upon lead scoring. And so I'd always thought about lead scoring. It was always something that I had in my mind, but never really took the time to actually do it. But tell me what your experience has been with lead scoring, like giving different point values to users that have taken different actions. Like, say, so for instance, somebody who's taken the action to open an email or visit a form versus somebody that's not, and how you segment them in your CRM databases. Does that make any difference in the stuff you work on?
Yeah, so lead scoring is really good because it helps you identify, number one, your journey, your buyer's journey, right? What is their journey? What are they looking at? What do they do beforehand? So if you give them and you give them those scoring points, right? Like you mentioned, open the email, visited a page, click the link in the email, because as you're emailing, you're asking your buyers to do things like, read this article, do this, do that. Then you can look at, okay, what are all the people who have a score of this? Now, what that can become is a hot lead campaign where either you can have someone call them or you can send targeted messaging to them that will probably get more conversions than if you were just sending to your entire list. Um, and then you can also segment off of that, right? So you can segment your leads hot, warm, cold. If their score is 0, they're cold. Like they never did anything. They didn't open email, they didn't do anything. So maybe you want to run what they call a re-engagement to the people who have a score of 0 to get them re-engaged to see like what is it that they need. Or maybe that's where, like we talked about last week, the list needs to just be cleaned at that point.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I didn't even think about the whole concept of accounting for lead scoring on the low end. Usually you just think, oh, high scoring people, you want to try and convert them, but then you completely forget about the opportunity to re-engage people that you definitively know are low on the list, to try and see if you can either revitalize that relationship or, like you say, clean the list and just cut the non-active members. So another one I wanted to go back to, because I've looked at it in a new way, and I know we've often talked about using AI to personalize different pieces of the email. I know Apollo.io has the feature that'll pull from the LinkedIn profile. But one client I saw use it in an interesting way. They do it in an event series. And of course, they've got about 6 different events over the course of the year. What they'll do is in the email, mention the event that they know this particular person went to. So say, for instance, if it was like, oh, you went to our leadership event in Orlando.
Nice.
It'll pick up and just say like, hey, Eddie, it was really great catching up and seeing you at our leadership event in Orlando. Hope you had a good time. If you want to know about other places in the area that we're doing events with, here's the one in Miami. It's in the region. You should check it out. So it's kind of leveraging the data that you have in your own record of that consumer to then talk about the different, whether products that they would be interested in or things you know about them. Have you ever thought about anything like that? What do you think of that?
I didn't, man. I got excited. And for all of you guys listening, all of this is done with automation, right? And so that is definitely something that you want to think about. All of these things are done with automation tools, and you have to have the right automation tools to be able to do that. So we talk about go high level on this show, and everything we're talking about you can get done with go high level. Now, as far as the setup part, you probably need to reach out to someone who can set up these strategies and run these plays that we're talking about. But that is amazing. No, you just gave me an idea. Like, wow.
Yeah, because it's almost like the prove you know me piece, but leveraging what's in your own record already. And speaking of the record already, wanted to get your thoughts on, because I know Go High Level has the animate or automated AI assistant that can start to talk and do conversions for you. But somebody gave me the idea of having the AI create like a sentiment score or a lead score based on how they engage with the AI. Like, so for instance, if they're always, chatting and back and forth and show a high level of interest, you can almost have the system change the lead score, change the sentiment score of that. And I wanted to kind of talk about ways in which we can trigger the AI or program the AI, whether we all know we want to try and drive meeting appointments or, estimate registrations or whatever. But what about other things in training the AI to just either get somebody to try to sign up for the newsletter or read the blog post or follow you on Facebook? Those lower level conversion things, but that could lead up to a broader a broader sentiment score or broader lead score. You ever think about things like that, those interim conversions?
No, but you made a good point because sometimes it's just the little actions, like you said, that'll lead to the big action. So we always think go in for the kill, book an appointment. We need to book an appointment. Um, Following you on social media is just as good if you're doing content or signing up for your newsletter. Like if somebody's like, listen, I'm just focusing on building my list, then just having the AI say, listen, your goal is to get people to sign up for the newsletter. If they're already on the newsletter, then you can configure that in the workflows and high level because you know it'll say that they're on the newsletter. But um that's really good. Just those small baby steps.
Yeah, especially since Go High Level talks to people across the different channels. So a lot of the channels actually on our platform, most of the channels where people start the dialogue is on like Instagram because they've got the direct messages on Instagram. And on there, you can then lead that engagement to say, take this survey or sign up for our newsletter to capture that email. So even if the dialogue starts on Facebook and Instagram, you can pull them through to get the email, get the phone number, get them to start to text message so you can have a little bit more control over that communication.
One of the things too that I found will either deter or keep quality leads is if you ask for that name and email address up front. So that'll deter like people playing with your chat bot or people who are really interested. Because if you're really interested,
You'll
you're going
give
to
the
give that
information.
information.
Yeah. And I think that's a big deal because if you get that name and email up front, it's actually like they consider it a permission-based, communication from then forward. It's like you are registering that person into your marketing stream and they've, willingly given you their information. So that's a good point, is probably even if somebody is doing it on their own, programming the bot to get that email and name up front and in the system, you can confirm it or, then prompt it to, send a confirmation email. But getting that up front is a big deal. Awesome. So I think we hit a lot of different points that kind of cover the topic from a lot of different angles. Any final notes for the folks on Monday?
No, just make sure you are intentionally marketing to people who are genuinely interested in your product. And you do that by leveraging and implementing all of the strategies we just talked about today.
Awesome. I'm going to end it with a new phrase I discovered. It's going to be like one of the episodes this week. It came up, the AI actually came up with the title, Elevate Your Automation.
Oh, yeah. So one thing I can say is that, I don't know, I'm seeing some repetitive statements from our friend ChatGPT.
Okay. Well, we'll work.
Well, now.
We'll work on the originality.
Okay.
All right. In the meantime, we'll be back. Cheers.
Listen up now. Gotta tell you about a show, Digital Marketing NetWurk with a secret flow. We got the tips, strategies to share. Learn the way to market. Put your business up there.